and welcome to another California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this all-new video entitled Coon versus Criticism. Now, this is a response video to Penny's Black's video about Coon versus constructive criticism. Now, basically in Penny's video, which I suggest you guys check out, he asserts that black people that's being criticized, that criticize the black community, are automatically called coons. And I'm here to do this video to say that is absolutely not true at all. For decades, black people have been criticized, whether it's been by other blacks or even white people. How do you criticize black people? Okay, let's break down criticism. If you see black criminals, now pure black criminals, black people don't cheerlead black criminals that's robbing banks, shooting up other black people or white people even, or committing child molestation or different forms of criminal activity. Black people do not cheerlead that on. In fact, when we talk about black crime, and I said this in my other video, when we talk about black crime, it's to straighten out the communities and figure out the origin and roots of the criminal activity in the black community. So sometimes we use a little criticism of when it comes to African American people. We use that criticism, and some of it is well received. Now, you do have some black people that don't receive criticism well, but the majority of the time, if it's smart, reasonable criticism, it's received well. When it comes to politics, black people criticize other black people on their political affiliations. Again, that is another, we criticize each other on the political side. It depends on which side of the spectrum you're looking at it from, or ideology. Whether it's a conservative or liberal or independent or whatever you guys choose to pick. Again, that is scrutinized. But black people do accept criticism without calling people a coon. Now, let's break down the coon argument. Again, I said in my last video, there's just a coon is really an Uncle Tom. Now, I'm just going to make it short and sweet. Uncle Tom is a person that supports white supremacy. That's A. They support white supremacy. They push an agenda to keep black people down. That is a Uncle Tom and a coon. They do those things in order for black people not to succeed. Some black people, and Malcolm X spoke on this in back over 50 years ago. Malcolm spoke on the Uncle Tom and the Phil Negro. And the Uncle Tom, he wants to advance himself. He wants to be around white people. He wants to be embraced by them. And he gets there by putting other black people down. That's what the Uncle Tom is. They criticize black people to move themselves up. They criticize black people without no solutions. That's what Uncle Toms do. Uncle Toms do that very same thing. That's where you have your differences at. Now, if you're an African American person that's criticizing the black community, but you're offering up solutions, like, for example, I don't like black on black crime. I think that the drugs in the black community should stop. And that's just me personally. I think that rap music should have different lyrics, embracing the black man to read and learn more things about themselves and their culture than to disrespect black women, disrespect themselves, and talk about really violent acts and sex acts to sisters out there. So I'm against the hip-hop industry, and they're being controlled by white and Jewish media that's perpetuating black negative stereotypes while making most of the money off of black people buying their music, and white people, and they're getting themselves fatter while we're out there doing all the hard, dirty work. The executives makes the most money, the distributors. But I've been against hip-hop for a long time, and if you black people want to participate with people like myself in going against the hip-hop movement, going against the black on black violence, then let's have this conversation. But let's not play this game about who's a coon and you're being criticized on you're being called a coon because you're criticizing the black race. If you're being snide and you're taking shots at the black race, and then, or we're talking about race issues, for example, we could be talking about black on white police brutality against black individuals, But then you bring up black on black crime. That's when I have to call you a coon because you're bringing up, you're telling me to look in my own backyard before discussing the race issue, and that makes no sense. If a black man is lynched in the South, say a black man gets lynched today, and that happens, you're telling me that I should not speak against the race issue because we have black on black crime. That makes no sense, and that's why you're called a Uncle Tom or a coon because you're trying to assert different black issues that don't go with race issues. And then when we talk about the race issues, you're trying to tell black people that see clearly a race issue that it does not exist. That's what the definition of a coon and an Uncle Tom is. Uncle Tom is a black man that wants to a black man that wants to embrace white values while again dogging the African American man out. That's why you have this modern day Uncle Tom and modern day field Negro. Field Negro, he works hard. That's what the field Negro used to do in the slave days. They work hard to achieve what the master want and then escape from the plantation. Whereas the Uncle Tom doesn't really have to do much but tell on the blacks, get the masters good food, get the masters good champagne, the secondhand champagne, get the masters secondhand clothes, and have more access to the master's quarters than maybe the slaves do in the field. Or you get to mess with the bed wench. Sometimes they got to mess with them. So that's an Uncle Tom. And see, the game is being played by the coons on Black YouTube. A lot of coons is playing this game as if they love black people so much, and we shouldn't scrutinize white people, but we should only scrutinize black people, and that's just not true. That's not how society should work. And when I myself have brought up the issue about, well, you have more white people killing than black people, they be like, well, I don't care about what they do. I just only care about black people. That's stupid as fuck to say that. It really is. It's a dumb thing to say because why do you want to just scrutinize the blacks when white people do it? So that's always been the pro-black argument and the black conscious community argument is that we're trying to break this brainwashing technique going on where I'm being called a coon. And see, a coon to me is a person that doesn't have much education, but they repeat everything they hear from white people. That's the definition of a coon. A smart black person that has education, they usually don't repeat coon ideology. They come up with their own ideology. A smart black person that's well educated come up with their own ideals and their own train of thought. They don't need to repeat what they hear, and they're not coons. A smart black person that gets education and is successful is not a coon. They're not a sellout. But a black person who repeats everything a white person says or Uncle Tom say has to be a coon. But that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Like and share this video. Let's talk about this stuff, people. Peace out.